Whoops. Let me go ahead and change that. There we go. Hi, everyone. Um, I've decided to play a little bit of a difficult game about climbing because I really like this game. Um, I think that there is a lot of fun in playing games that are difficult. Now, I have played this game before, full disclosure, but I'm hoping that it's still fun to watch, even though it's probably not going to be as, blindly frustrating as it might have been otherwise. Oh, I got to uh, put in the audio. There we go. Okay. And let's include chat. Where are you, chat? There you are. Hi, chat. Okay. Oh, darn it. Put you right back there. I'm so good at OBS. Honestly, I like, I do mean that this game is fun. I personally found getting over with Bennett Foddy to be a very relaxing game. Um, and I do mean that, right? And like, obviously the meme is that it's a rage game, like, like yelling, mad, frustration because you don't, you lose a lot of progress. But I enjoy just I suppose, it's like Sisyphus, right? You know the whole meme with Sisyphus. You must imagine him happy. Um, I know I'm going to lose a lot of progress, right? Um, that's not the expectation that I'm going to keep it all. And progress in this game happens not in like, levels or screens. It happens in skill. I've gotten relatively far in the game. I got into the like cave section and I decided to just restart because I just felt like playing this game again. And I also wanted to hang out a bit with the YouTube audience. Unfortunately, I still haven't installed a second monitor. I need to get around to that so I can actually look at chat while playing a game. Um, Instead, I just alt shift over to y'all. Yeah. So yeah, I know I haven't been super active recently on YouTube, and recently I've been enjoying Hades 2. I got some work with my computer science degree. It's not like a super scheduled thing, but it is still gonna take up time and energy of mine. And computer science is, my degree, what I am looking to pursue. But YouTube is always meant to be like a hobby to me, right? Um, which is why you looked like earlier in my channel. It's just a bunch of random stuff. Also, why I don't like name myself after backpack battles, because yeah, YouTube is supposed to be like a hobby. Oop, funny. YouTube's meant to be like a hobby, and just something I enjoy myself doing, right? I think that, like, obviously I still love Backpack Battles. I think it's a great game. I don't plan on not playing it. I just haven't found myself particularly interested in playing it recently. Not as much as I used to anyway. I think that, like, sections kind of come and go, but I do want to play Backpack Battles. I do want to also be more consistent with uploading. And I think a big part of that is going to be kind of lowering my standards, so to speak, and just kind of taking things as they are, enjoying myself, and uploading maybe a bit more of a variety of stuff, because I just think that's more fun. And I know that's going to probably get like fewer views than like even like 3 times a week Backpack Battles uploads. Not that that'd be very difficult or anything. Let's see. Yeah, no one's talking in chat. Okay, so I get to just keep yammering. Ha 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 ha. Okay, what was I talking about? Yeah, so they just lose a lot of progress there, but honestly, it's like just nice. It was nice to be doing this and uh have something to do in chat. So I guess, like, what is the plan, right? Like, what do I want to do with my channel? Well, it's kind of a tough question, right? Because, like, recently, I mean, not super recently, the last thing I did was another one of these streams where I just sort of, like, hung out and talked and did stuff, right? And that time I was playing some backpack battles. This time I'm not playing backpack battles. I do want to have a bit of a different relationship to gaming. Like, you know, now that I'm older, I'm trying to start a career and whatnot. And YouTube has kind of been my answer to, like, what do I want gaming to be in my life, right? And I love theater. I love acting. I love being in front of people and performance, right? And trying to combine, like, you know, my main hobbies of performance and, like, gaming. What? Jesus. Is a good way to make it so that gaming is more. I feel like they made this thing harder. Maybe I just fell off. The gaming is more engaging, or, like, rather uses more of my brain than it normally does, because I don't know how up to date in the neuroscience I am, but from what I understand, there's like cannabinoid receptors, which kind of happen when you're very used to doing something, and it is like that level of pleasure for the brain in which, like, you know, you get into a sort of a schedule, like, let's say every day you're playing like League of Legends or something, then you don't really even enjoy it. The compulsion to do so comes from, like, the cannabinoid pleasure receptors, and apologies, my neuroscience isn't accurate, but my point is that, like, I find that particular kind of enjoyment to be not very fulfilling, and I think that's something that I also find myself pursuing a lot, because, like, with ADHD, it's very easy to kind of fall into, like, very easy low resistant habits for immediate, like, pleasure, immediate gratification, as ADHD is one of the major parts of ADHD, which I have, right, is basically reward seeking, because the brain kind of, like, goes so fast and desires dopamine. So, like, it's very, like, because ADHD brains have less dopamine, it's very easy to, like, fall into a habit to get some dopamine, to get some enjoyment, in order to help meet that need, right? So in a sense, gaming has kind of been that for me, and I think that I have, like, not like a complete unhealthy relationship to gaming or anything, but at times it can be unhealthy, right? Like, just getting very fixated on a particular game. That was actually backpack battles for me for a while, right? Like, I kind of got very fixated on backpack battles for a while, until I started, and again, I would play it a lot, and I think in kind of an unhealthy manner. But I think that actually got a lot healthier once I started my YouTube channel, because then backpack battles wasn't just like, I need to climb, I need to, like, you know, play well and adapt and whatnot. It became much more about talking to you guys, talking to my fans. Oops. And trying to think of things that are entertaining and engaging to say. And, you know, it's still fun, it's still backpack battles, but it's no longer kind of like a compulsion. And in a sense, like, that's really what I want from gaming, right? I want gaming to be something more fun and dynamic, instead of, like, I'm doing the same thing over and over again because that's what I'm used to, right? Yep. And obviously I'm not, like, against gaming, right? I said, like, I felt like my gaming habits were unhealthy, or, like, not really what I wanted. Obviously it's like, what I'm doing here is I like gaming, and I want to keep gaming, just in a way that I feel is more fulfilling. So, all that is to say, I think that, I don't want to make any, like, promises or commitments, because I'm not great at those. But if I am to keep making content, I I would imagine I would lower my standards for Backpack Battles videos, and I would also upload probably a wider variety of content, and still trying to keep it relatively well balanced, right? And I don't exactly know like how much I should be aiming to upload, like, you know, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, 2 times a week. It's kind of hard to say, right? I think I like I think that the people want 5 videos a week or like 7 videos a week, right? Of like, you know, of just kind of whatever Backpack Battles content. And I could do that, but I don't think that's what I want to do, right? And I think that's going to be a really big thing with my YouTube channel, is it's got to be something that I really want to do, because ultimately, you know, I guess it's like, I don't want to sound too selfish or nothing, but it doesn't pay super well, right? Like, it's not that it pays poorly, and not that I can't like make it pay more if I really tried. But like, what I'm getting out of YouTube isn't really for you guys. It's for myself at the end of the day. Which is, you know, it's kind of like, for a while with YouTube, I really wanted to make this for you guys, right? And not like, you know, just for myself. So, yeah. But, and that was because like I looked at how much watch time I was getting. It was like, I want to say like 12,000 hours or something, and it's just like, that's so much time, right? That is so long. That is 6 work years. I have never worked for 12,000 hours on anything, and I have been watched for 12,000 hours, right? And that's just like, okay, people are watching me for that long. I want to make sure it's pleasant. I want to make sure that people are really enjoying themselves, because I am sucking up so much of their time. I may as well, I feel kind of indebted to all that time that people are spending on me to make it into something really good, right? And like, really worth seeing. But ultimately, I don't think that's really necessarily great for me to think that way. It's kind of like, you know, people enjoy watching me, people enjoy seeing me, that's good. And I definitely want to aspire to make my videos more pleasant to watch, right? Like, for example, just like cutting down downtime, adding in a little bit of audio, but like doing so in a way that is, I guess, easy. And in such a way that it always feels like fun to do. And also in a way that I'm like proud of my videos, right? Because like, as I said, people probably prefer to have more stuff as opposed to less, like more stuff to watch from me. I kind of feel like people want to make, you know, want to make like gaming YouTubers. At least if you want to be successful, you kind of want to be a part of people's schedules, right? Oh yeah, hi, thanks. Yeah, nice to hear that you've shot my channel recently, and it's nice to hear that, like, you know, YouTube's still putting me out there. I think that's something that kind of gets to a lot of people, is this idea of, like, you always have to be putting stuff out, or the algorithm's going to not forgive you, but, you know, I've definitely found that not to be the case. I think that Google's, like, you know, I loathe to compliment Google on something, but I think they've actually done a really good job at making the algorithm pretty nice. And a lot more, like, forgiving than maybe it used to be, like the Legends are, right? Because, yeah, it's kind of like, if I don't upload super frequently, obviously it's going to hurt my viewers. Obviously, I become a part of fewer people's schedules, but my videos still get out there, right? Oh, geez. Oh, that's impressive. Look at that. All right. Oh, okay. You broke your elbows. That's great. Okay. But yeah. I think what I want to aim for is probably like at least 2 backpack battles videos a week. And you know, trying to keep them interesting, trying to keep them fun. I had like I definitely have another option of like lowering my standard on what is worth uploading, because something that kind of is frustrating is if I'm trying to do like a particular challenge or something, or like, you know, make a particular kind of video for backpack battles, that's a lot of luck, right? Like if I'm trying to do like, you know, no weapons challenge or whatever the heck, if I, you know, if it's something that is especially exciting, it's probably very unlikely, right? And that makes it so I'm very likely to fail. So an option there is to, you know, go for less exciting stuff, more fundamental stuff. Another option is to upload losses, right, and let people see me struggle, let people see me dice. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there's like a lot of options there, but and I guess it's a bit tough to say exactly what I want to do, because people, I don't necessarily think people love watching losses or like failures. Maybe like, you know, people like seeing games that get to round 18 and like seeing builds get realized, right? So, but if I'm trying to do something really exciting, then obviously it's much less likely it gets to round 18. But I think that my plan is, if I'm making videos, probably more along the lines of showcasing particular stuff instead, and showcasing in particular like fun ideas for builds, but like not trying to do very preposterous stuff, unless it's something that I really feel like doing. I feel like really motivated to do so, right? Like insta-kill build, right? That was fun, but jeez, I'm bad at this. I got that first try, and then I made a mistake, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it next time, but I guess not. Okay. Let's do the skip. Come on. I gotta lock in when I get there. I'm yapping too much about YouTube channel stuff. Okay, let's get it. And yeah, ooh, real smooth. Okay. All right. Up and up. I think I'm getting in my head a little bit here. Yeah. There we go. We got him. We got there. Okay. And up. Yeah. By the way, the thumbnail for this I call like Bennett Foddy 2. My partner, I was like streaming this game to them, letting them watch me play. My partner called it Bennett Foddy 2, and I thought that was like the funniest thing to call this game. Because like it has nothing to do with Bennett Foddy. Getting Over It was not named Bennett Foddy. It doesn't have a 2 in its name, right? But like, you know, it's a completely reasonable name. Because like, people know what you mean. Like, you say Bennett Foddy 2, and they're aware of this game and like Getting Over It, they probably know what you're saying. So like in that sense, it's not like a failure of the definition. But like, it is so far off of the actual name. Okay. Okay. In summary, I'm not really going to probably seek much growth. If more people end up wanting to watch me, less people end up wanting to watch me, I think, you know, it's kind of like this game, right? At least my viewpoint of this game, it's not really about progress. It's just about getting better and enjoying the journey. Or like, yeah, not really caring about growth. is the plan for my channel. I don't really regret taking, like, I guess, you know, all the breaks I have been taking in making content. Jesus. Because, yeah, growth has never really been my goal for the channel. Yeah. And I guess I can be a bit more comfortable saying that now because, like, I have, you know, a way to get income and eventually get money and live with my partner, right? Yeah. Okay. Speaking of stuff I want to make, I was thinking of, like, you know, writing about game design. I've had this idea for, like, a video essay on game design because it is just something that I really enjoy. Is there a bad ending like in Bennett Foddy? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe there's like an actual bad ending. What was I saying? Right, video essay about game design. So I really like game design. I have actually worked on the board game Aeon's End by Indie Boards and Cards. And you know, I've made like my own games, etc. So that's been actually eating up a lot of my time recently is I've been working on a custom Dice Throne character. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dice Throne, but you know, Ilya, it's supposed to be, it's like Yahtzee, Battle Yahtzee, and my custom character is basically a deck building game, Aeon's End, inside of Dice Throne. Is a sort of loose concept there. Okay, wait, let's latch on here. But regardless, you know, working with, I don't know how familiar you all are with like hobbyist game design, but it is a space that like I'm in a lot, and if you're at all familiar with it, you're also probably familiar with designers who struggle a lot to make something that they're happy with. And I kind of wanted to, I think that I've kind of figured out a lot of where that comes from. Of like people, you know, trying to make something and not really knowing, or like never really being happy with it, right? Or like they're making so much, but none of it sticks and none of it like really works. And I think that I kind of want to make a video essay on like everything that I know about game design, about how to work on a project in a way that is productive and moves towards things that kind of make you happy, right? I have like things to say about like feedback and what to shoot for in a design in a game. Like, I don't know if this sounds like it should be like one big video or like multiple smaller ones. I'm kind of tempted to make this into like one big video because I don't know if you all see Quentin reviews his extremely long videos on like the Nickelodeon live action sitcoms, but a kind of a big benefit of making absurdly long videos for informational content like video essays is that you get to expose people to parts of what you're saying that would be less enticing if it was like a 15-minute or like a 5-minute video, right? Even if it's like good stuff. And obviously, if I'm making something very long, I would aim to make it worth watching in totality. But there's like definitely a lot of parts of game design that I just think aren't particularly like enthralling if you hear about them. Like, I think like timing windows. I think timing windows are one of the most important parts of board game design. And I think if I made a video about timing windows in board game design, no one would care. Even though I think it's so important to making a game feel good. And I can give it like a more clickbaity title, like why your board game feels terrible to play. But, you know, I kind of like having things be honest and be a bit more straightforward. So just like everything I know about board game design in like a 3-hour essay or something, like that is honest, right? That is, you know what you're getting yourself into. And then like, you know, a solid maybe 30 of those minutes are going to talk about timing windows or like examples of them and how they can make games feel bad or good. And if anyone is listening, I suppose I should explain what I mean by timing windows. Essentially, a timing window is the duration of time in which you are allowed, or like you are expected to remember something or take a particular action. And I suppose as an example, try to think of like something that people have generally played, but I've never actually played Monopoly. But sure, let's actually say Monopoly. It's actually a pretty good example of good timing windows. I don't know a whole lot about Monopoly, but there is a mechanic, or like when do you need to pay attention to what's going on in Monopoly? Well, you roll your dice, and then you move that many spaces. So it's a very hard timing window to miss, right? That is your main action. Without that happening, nothing's happening. And then when you land, something happens. So in a sense, you kind of see, okay, well, here is my timing window for when I land somewhere. Here's my time window for my turn starts, and then I'm expected to pick up my dice and roll them, right? And in that sense, it's very easy to manage. The windows to do actions in that game are basically like very difficult to forget. You're already moving your piece, so it's pretty easy to, okay, now that I'm done moving my piece, there is something else to do, right? Like that is a very easy signal to parse in the brain. And also, I'm like, oh, it's my turn, and the game's not going to move until I roll my dice to decide where I'm going to move, right? Like, that's pretty easy. So we can also look at Magic the Gathering for much more complicated timing windows. You know, untap, upkeep, draw, I'm playing something, it's resolving. And if you've played, you know, not that Magic the Gathering is a poor designed game, it's obviously a really well-designed game. But, like, you know, if you play, like, maybe a more casual table and, like, you're trying to play a counter spell, then the window of time between, like, you know, oh, they're playing a spell or they're moving to something else, like, the decision to cast a spell is then a timing window, right? Like, I casted a spell, and now all my opponents have a window of time which they're expected to potentially play an instant or resolve instant effects. And that merely existing makes the game a lot less smooth to play. Like, you look at Hearthstone, for example, when you play cards, when you resolve actions, there is no window for your opponent to respond because, you know, you take the game one turn at a time. Which then makes Hearthstone a lot smoother and easier to resolve turns. But that smoothness comes at the expense of, you know, what designs are possible and how much player interaction they have. So it's not that timing windows are bad, it's just that you have to be conscious of them. Magic the Gathering uses timing windows in a interesting way, or that in a way that is, you know, worth it to the people who enjoy the game, right? And I don't know if you've all, you know, and I'm getting really niche. Maybe not niche, but then we get to Monopoly Cheaters Edition, which is an example of taking a game with very generous timing windows, very easy timing windows, Monopoly, and then making those timing windows absolutely terrible. So you'll see with Monopoly's Cheaters Edition that actions, instead of taking place, you know, in a predictable manner, now there are all kinds of timing windows that are way more narrow and require way more specific actions. So like, oh, someone is taking money from the bank, you have now some amount of time until the next player picks up their dice to call them out. So now there is an extra window of action there. Also, every time that you do something, you probably also have a chance to engage in a cheat, which will also create another narrow window of time in which you may do these cheats, and you have to be aware of them if you're trying to play well. And it's like all of these windows of actions that exist in sporadic and unpredictable ways will really make the game a lot more tedious to play. So to bring that into more general game design, like there was this custom Spirit Island spirit, which, you know, if you don't know Spirit Island, you probably don't. I'm yapping really far out here, but essentially Spirit Island is a cooperative game in which people are on a board doing actions. And the game is relatively complicated, but the game is actually very good. Oh, very funny. The game is actually very good at having timing windows that are pretty dang predictable. You have like a slow phase, a fast phase to do your actions, and you have, before your fast phase, you do other like actions to help prepare for stuff. But this particular custom spirit had extra actions happening in every build phase, and then, you know, when at the end of turn, or at the end of rounds, certain cards had like extra abilities when you played them, and when something like attacked, then you have another action that you have available to you, right? It like just had all of these like little actions that you could take at times when you're not normally taking actions in the game, and that made the character extremely tedious to play. And, you know, looking at a lot of like amateurish board game design, like with that lens of when does the player have to do something and how specific is that, is I think really illuminating to me, showing me how bad, like, you know, why a bad game is bad. And obviously there are other reasons a game can be bad than poor timing windows, right? But that is just something that a lot of people are blind to because it's just not really something that people talk about. Yep, Monopoly's Cheaters Edition is a terrible game. You're right. Yes. Like, you know, that's not even getting into, like, you know, balance and play dynamics, right? That's just the windows of time in which people are allowed to interact with the game. And like that's pretty much terrible. Yep. Yep. So when it comes to timing windows, I think a big part is to combine your timing windows or to attach them to something that is already happening in your game that your player is already like tuned in for. So, for example, as I said, when you land in Monopoly, you then have to do other actions depending on where you land. That's like a good place to put your action, because it combines the timing window of, you know, moving your piece, which is already combined with starting your turn, with resolving your action, right? So all these things happening, you know, at once due to one another, that makes things very clear and makes it so that, like, you know, the action and inaction parts of the game are more clearly delineated. So usually whenever you can, without like sacrificing a part of your game, if you can like attach a timing window to something else, that makes the game better. Or if you can like combine them, right? Like, let's say that you have an ability whenever you're attacked, then you can do this. And whenever you attack someone, whenever you're attacked, you can do this. And you can also do that, do something at the end of your opponent's turn, or like after your attack, etc. And it's like, maybe you could get a similar level of strategic depth by just, like, you know, have everything happening during your own attack, or everything happening at the start of your own turn, right? Without actually sacrificing what makes those systems interesting. Nope. And by doing that, the game will become a lot less tedious to play, as the players no longer have to worry about, like, okay, now my opponent is attacking me, and they gain health, so that means I can do my gain health on my opponent's attack counter move. Like, that is no longer a thing you have to worry about. So now the opponent can just attack, and then it's like, okay, that's fine, it just goes through, or, you know, or whatever. Nope. And obviously, if I were to make that into a video essay, it would probably be less rambly and easier to follow. Okay. Ah, shit. Okay. I'm guessing also people who are tuned into the stream probably don't want to hear me, necessarily want to hear me yap about board game design. They want to be, ooh, yeah, this game's hard. I want to see this person struggle. Too bad. You're getting me rambling about game design. This is Derek Dies now. Hope you enjoy. Oh, yeah, shit. You know, I guess you still get to see me struggle a little bit, huh? Hup. And hup. Okay. I actually have never beaten this game. Because I was stuck at like the cave section, right? Alright, let's lock in. We got this time. This time, sure. But yeah, I am hoping that I can find myself doing more of YouTube in a way that I think is enjoyable. At the end of the day, that is kind of my goal, right, is to have fun and let other people watch me enjoy myself and have fun. I was thinking of doing even, like, you know, more, obviously more back-end battle stuff. You know what? I'm getting bored of this game, so let's switch it over to backpack battles. All right, wait, let's see if I can change my broadcast here. Studio mode. All right, I gotta figure out in OBS how to change my stream. You know what? I'm just gonna stop streaming and I'm gonna start streaming backpack battles. Yes, that is the solution.